You've mentioned in the course of this interview a slight fear, perhaps a major fear, that this book might be regarded as heretical.
Yeah, I'm very frightened of that, especially if you've been sort of regarded as somebody who's the mouthpiece of a particular belief system, even though actually I used my own language for that. I'm terrified because I, on the one hand, feel I have a right to write my book, and on the other hand, I remember myself when I was in that organisation and people started questioning the beliefs. I would move away from them completely. I would just not engage in debate. So I know the feeling of staying away from detractors. And
does that perhaps indicate a degree of spiritual arrogance on your part?
Oh, totally. I would say that I hope I was always kind. There was some bullying. There's always bullying in communities, isn't there? Like sort of hierarchies and bullying, and you're doing that right, you're doing that wrong. I don't think I did that, which is one form of arrogance. But I think privately I thought I was very special. I'm sure I did. And I still struggle with that, although arrogance, as we were taught, in fact, in that community, arrogance can present itself either as I'm the best or I'm the worst, and I'm the worst is also a form of arrogance. That was fear. I was frightened of anyone. I was frightened if I was challenged. I did not want to be challenged because it spoiled the beautiful bubble that I was in, which was a beautiful bubble. I always felt that debate destroyed poetry. And I felt like I was living in a sonnet. And so I always felt, and I still to some extent feel, debate about religion is interesting, but debate doesn't sit well with mysticism. It sits well perhaps with belief. But something mystical, something like a epiphany, has to remain of its own self untouched. And I felt like that. And so I am scared that this book, well, that's why I've written fiction, because, I've not written a sort of polemic.
Why did you leave? What caused you, after 20 years, to abandon this
my bubble?
Your bubble, your sonnet.
My sonnet. Why did
That's not a sonnet.
I abandoned my sonnet? Well, all sonnets come to an end, don't they? But mine not with a rhyming couplet, I must say, because I never did leave. I just got a new job. And there were many people who fell in love because the rules were celibacy, all these rules about no relationships and all the rest of it. I didn't leave. I just got a new job. But the job was a full-time post in Kent, physically away from the community, as head of English. And that was time consuming.